Say cheese.
Cheese.
Are you going to help me make this video? Or are you going to be in the middle of everything?
What's wrong?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go ahead and try to make this video and see if my son wants to cooperate with me today.
Cheese.
I have a sinking sensation that he's probably not.
Papa.
As long as he doesn't punch any buttons or stand in front of the camera saying cheese the whole time, I think we should be alright.
Yeah.
Alright, leave alone, buddy. I got a request to...
Cheese.
Okay, Dan. Daddy's not trying to record you. I'm trying to record what I did to my boat. Can you help me and stand back here? Yeah, let's show everybody what I did to my boat, okay? Thank you. Alright. I have a FeelFree Lure, and I had request to show how I did the two-wheel mod on this thing. You know, because these boats come with one wheel in the keel. Well, that's all great and dandy for going down the boat ramp, but whenever you are going down a trail or some more rough terrain, it's not so ideal because the boat isn't necessarily balanced 100%. So you wind up with the boat wanting to lean left or lean right. Leave it alone, buddy. Don't get in the way. Stay back here. So one of the solutions to that I saw on the Facebook page for the FeelFree Lure owners is to add these two wheels, and it's pretty easy. I'm not going to get into measurements or anything because, I mean, I just kind of winged it. The only thing that I can say is measurement wise is this piece of pipe right here. You want that to be 6 3/4 inches long. Everything else you just cut it to fit. So I'll show you how this comes apart. Over here, which you can probably get away with one nut, but I have two, and a lock washer, just something to keep a little pressure on it. So take the lock washer, the nut and the lock washer, and just loosen that nut off like that. Lock washer, and you got just that nut right there. That will probably hold it on as long as you keep going forward, because it's going to naturally want to tighten up. But if you push it backwards, that probably wouldn't work too great. Right, so this wheel slides off like so. Back it up just a little bit here. Slides off like that. Throw your nut, your bolt, and your washer in there. This portion of the axle, which is just a spacer, slides off. Now there's a few pieces, but honestly it's really not that bad. Then what you do, you know, of course this is all sitting on the ground. You don't have to lift your boat up to try to get your wheel, you know, in a scupper hole or whatever. And this is just 5/8 all thread. So you just slide the whole kit and caboodle out one side. And what I do is when I go to put this back, because this all fits in the front storage area of the boat, I just put my spacers back on, thread on one of the nuts, put the lock washer on, and I thread on the other nut, and then this whole thing right here just slides right down into your front compartment, you know, where your hatch is on the front of your boat. Pretty easy. You got my other wheel, buddy? Thank you. Alright, now as far as putting this back together, here, thank you. Good job, dude. Watch out, you're in the way of the camera. Now how you make this the easiest way, I mean, I did this all in the dark. I mean, I was in the dark doing this, so it's not hard. Look out, buddy. Look out. That is a wheel. Alright, so first things first is you want this 3/4 inch PVC. This 3/4 inch PVC fits into this hole, and it is the same width. Let me drop this down a little bit. It's the same width as, hold on, bud, as the keel of this boat. So you can see it fits pretty much flush on this side, pretty well flush on this side. So that fills up that gap where the axle for the wheel and the keel goes. And then what I use is just a piece of copper tubing. Don't even know, I think it's actually 3/4 inch copper tubing, maybe. Yeah, 3/4 inch copper tubing. And what it happens is it slides directly into the PVC. What that does, it prevents that axle from rubbing on the PVC and wearing it out, and it kind of closes up the gap just a little bit so you don't get as much wiggle. So that just slides right in there like that. And what you do is you cut your pieces here. This is 1 inch PVC. You cut this into 6 3/4 inch lengths, 2 of them, and you drill a 5/8 hole in either end of the cap. That's all there is to that. All that is a spacer to keep it, you know, out away from your boat hull. That's all that is. Okay, so once you get that part done, you're going to put one side together. So what I did, what'd you do with that washer, son? Okay, stick these in my pocket. He seems to be really interested in those nuts and washers. On the other end, I have a nylon lock nut. So I just tightened it on there. Not going to have to worry about that ever again. It's going to stay tight. I put my spacer, and I put a 5/8. So I think it was a 1.5 inch, 2 inch spacer, or a washer, and that's just to keep it from rubbing on the hull right there. So, and this was the full length axle when I started. So I just slide it through, which usually it's all together, so it might be a little bit difficult doing it apart like this. But after I cut this, slide it all together, copper tubing on the inside, so it looks like this. And of course this is a full length when you first start. You slide it through. Look out, buddy, I'll hit you in the face. Slide it through like that. So you've got all your axles shoved through. It's tight on this side. My son's trying to put the wheel on. He knows where it goes. Hold on, buddy. Then you slide your washer on and your other spacer. Alright, so this kind of tightens everything up. Then you'll slide your wheel on. And when I did it, when I cut it, I actually slid it on this way. Takes up the same amount of space, and that way you can cut with the hacksaw right here a little easier. That way the tire isn't in the way, because if you look, when this is flipped and you go to cut that axle, you know, the tire's right there. So whenever I went to cut this originally, I just flipped it like this, pulled everything tight, you know, put my 2 nuts on and made my cut. So that way you're not guessing on the length and wind up cutting it too short. So put your first nut on, put your lock nut on, put your second nut on, and then you cut off the excess. And I cut it off probably about 1/4 inch past that second nut. And when you're finished, you just take it all back apart, put your wheel on the correct way. Put your first nut on. Looks like I said, you could probably get away with just one if you really wanted to. As long as you're pulling it, it's going to naturally always want to tighten. If you go the other way, it'll slowly work its way loose if you're pushing it like a wheelbarrow. Put on a lock washer. You put on the second nut. What I do is I just grab the first nut and I just put a little bit of tension on it, just to keep it from wanting to back off while I'm going down the trail. That's pretty much it. And it's super simple. The one axle, or the wheel, stays on the axle. Slide it into your front hatch, and then you just sit your other wheel down in there as well. Super easy. I'm going to get the wheel and the keel and show you how that thing comes apart. Be right back.
Oh, Daddy. you. Of course. Daddy,
Come on, bud.
how are you?
Yeah, it is a wheel. Okay, so how this works, this is the main question that everybody has. This is your wheel and this is your axle, okay? This right here slides in through the inside on the left side.
Yeah.
So as it slides in, you can pop your wheel in, so it rides like this, and then you put your axle in from the other side, like that, okay? Along with this little grommet, like that. So whenever you're putting the wheel back on, you slide this one in, and you slide this one in without the threaded end on it. So they're sitting on the inside.
Daddy!
Come on, buddy. So these two sit like this. So once you get these two in here, the wheel kind of clips in. When you put enough pressure on it, it just kind of falls into place because the wheel is actually kind of made for these little beveled edges. Okay, so you'll slide this one in, you'll slide this one in, you'll pop your wheel in, so it'll look like this. And then like Damon says right there, you slide your axle through the hole. Okay, once the axle's in, that holds it all together. And then from the outside, this nut screws on to the gray washer. Taking it apart, you can see there's little slots right here. All I did was took a big screwdriver, stuffed it in there, big flathead, and then I took the Allen key that fits, which I don't even remember what size it was, it's just one I found that happened to fit. Stick the screwdriver in there, kind of wedge it, and then just loosen it right off. So this will come out of that hole. And then you take a small screwdriver from the other side and you just punch your axle through this side. Then the whole assembly falls apart. It's pretty easy, not hard. If anybody's got any more questions about how it comes apart, I guess I can do a little video on actually putting it back in and removing it. But if I ever want to use my single wheel on the keel, you know, it's not out of the question. I can put it back in if I need to. So, but that's the gist of it. I mean, if you got any more questions, comment and let me know so I can kind of go over them in more depth. Like I said, I did this all in the dark. I figured it all out. So, and I've taken this down some railroad tracks that were pretty dang rough, and I didn't have any problems with it. Hey, Damon. Hey, come here. Come over here on this side. Be a little quieter, okay? But it works really well. Works really good, actually. You don't have to worry about the boat being teeter-tottery. I mean, it's real easy to pull it. You just basically pick it up and walk with it. You don't have to worry about whether it's going to tilt left or tilt right or fall over or dump all your stuff out onto the boat ramp. And it's really easy to get off. You don't really have to lift up the boat much at all to get it off. You know, rather than lifting the boat up really high in order to get the scupper carts up underneath the boats. So hopefully this helped out. Give a pretty good description on how to make it. The only thing I measured was these 1-inch PVC, 6 3/4 inches. What that does is it brings out your axle width to about the width of your boat at the widest point. So any more questions, let me know. Hopefully this helps everybody. Catch you next time.